Welcome to Session 5 in the UC Migration Webinar Series. I'm Rich Steves, Web Editor at TMC.
And I'm Alan Percy, Senior Director of Marketing at Audio Codes.
So what do we have for Session 5?
So Session 5 is about mobility, all right? So as businesses start to implement Microsoft Lync and they get more comfortable with it, now they start to think about how do I take it out on the road, be sort of untethered from the desk. So we're going to first analyze sort of what's happening in the market space when it comes to UC mobility, and then we're going to dig into some details in the actual process of implementing Microsoft Lync's mobile components.
Who are the presenters for this session?
So this particular session, we're going to be joined by a consultant, Mike Finneran. He's a principal at DBRN Associates. He's an industry veteran, and he's had this practice since 1982 and published a number of research reports, white papers, et cetera, on the wireless technologies, including Wi-Fi, cellular, WiMAX, fixed to mobile convergence, et cetera. And he's, of course, a frequent industry speaker, and real glad to have him as part of the series here. In addition to that, too, we're going to have Benjamin Tosato. He's a Vice President of Professional Services at Conquest Technology Services. And he's very passionate about enabling business and technology. Through his career, he's helped a number of organizations implement unified communications and, of course, Microsoft Lync. And he's intimately involved in the mobility application for Lync.
Great. Should be an interesting session. Let's hear what they have to say.
All right.
Thank you very much, Alan. Well, let's get things underway. My part of the presentation is to talk about the overall market for UC mobility, some of the challenges you'll find you're facing, and why Microsoft's entry into this really could be a game changer. Now, first off, let's talk about what's going on in wireless in general. First and foremost, life is great. I just got back from the Mobile Connect conference in Boston. The mobility market is going like gangbusters. iOS and Android devices have really redefined what people expect when they're mobile. But the consumer mobile experience is really shaping people's expectations. The countless of the presentations I listened to in Boston talked about the challenges enterprises are going to have in matching the consumer mobile experience. But it's certainly happening. Just in this past year, 2011, the number of smartphones sold in the United States finally passed the number of basic handsets. And now with the growing deployments of 4G, wireless networks are catching up to the wired networks with regard to reliability and capacity. So things are happening on the consumer side, but the big question is, what's happening on mobile UC? Well, for the moment, not a lot. All of the IP, PBX, and UC vendors have introduced mobile UC clients. The user take rate we found has been way below expectations. Now, there are a couple of special challenges we have in enterprise mobility that do go to a point of explaining these. First off, the mobile business is clearly shaped by the consumer market. So essentially, we're looking to do business with what have now become consumer tools. Of course, with the move to bring your own device, our short-term challenge is balancing user requests and preferences with the enterprise requirements for security, control, and support. That's probably the one area where I spend the most time with my clients today. But really, I always try to point out to them that that's really your short-term objective. Yes, BYOD is coming about. There's no doubting it, and there's no stopping it. But we have to look beyond that to the real purpose of this, which is to enable business transformation based on mobility. That is, putting these tools to their best enterprise use. Now, there are a few core benefits we find applying mobility in the enterprise. Three to be specific. One is accessibility. It's one of the big features you'll get with Lync Mobile. You're able to reach critical people at critical times. Critical people are typically the one person who has the correct answer, or the manager with the authority to say yes to an exception. Of course, we've all seen the enhancements in terms of productivity. That was led clearly by the ability to have mobile email and then mobile text. But now the ability to access information while outside of the office